Oh, I'm gonna lose my job just 'cause I'm dangerously unqualified.
Take a right. Everything changes. Well, Take a Right is the episode title for episode 6, season 2. I mistakenly was thinking it was Take a Left, and it was bothering me. I couldn't understand what it meant. When I figured out it was Take a Right, I still couldn't figure out what it meant.
Hey, you must be a trendsetter, Johnny. Looks like everyone's doing something new. Take a right, check it out.
Okay, good reference into the series. Something early on in the movie, and something that Tommy says to Johnny. So then we can work with that in this episode. That's one of the elements we get. His old friends meeting him and having a last hurrah. Taking a right turn, taking a right, taking a turn. I'm looking too hard for a deeper meaning, at least in the title. For me, the deeper meaning is the team building. The team building is what is matched from group to group. There is Cobra Kai, Kreese, and the students. There's Miyagi-Do, Daniel, and his students, mostly Dimitri and Chris. And then there's Cobra Kai Classic, the original recipe. It's best to look at each of these three. I think you get a little more out of this. Daniel not only needs to build his dojo with students, can't have a dojo without students, he needs to clean up and repair his dojo after the recent vandalism. What better way to complete the cleanup and the repair than with former Cobra Kai students? Chris and a few others, they show up to join after leaving Cobra Kai. Of course, Dimitri suspects them all, considering Chris helped Hawk chase down Dimitri for a fight, a one-sided fight, as Dimitri brings very little to the table when it comes to fighting. Now, Daniel seems to take on an impossible task, pairing up Dimitri with Chris specifically to lift a very heavy stone. Is it a horrible idea? No. Is it a great idea? Potentially a very good idea. Chris is a big, strong, affable guy. Dimitri's a smart guy, but he's quick to judge and condescend and mouth off. We've seen that all the way back to season 1. They're not exactly Oscar Madison and Felix Unger, but they're close enough to make an odd pairing. Also, a strange team-building exercise when you consider Daniel could just get his whole dojo together and lift the stone, and it would probably be very easy. Of course, that team-building exercise that Daniel has in mind, it isn't physical. He wants to move the heaviest object in the dojo, and it isn't the stone. Lifting the stone has nothing to do with it. The heaviest object is the chip that's on Dimitri's shoulder, and it's the guilt that Chris carries around with him. If the dojo sees Chris and Dimitri lower their guard and work together, then they see how you can move past a grudge and move past remorse and start to build trust. That's the dojo that Daniel LaRusso wants to build. Whether or not the stone even moves, it isn't relevant. They could fail, but they could still try to come up with ideas and still demonstrate the value of cooperation and individual forgiveness. Sounds like an after-school special now, the way I put it. Robbie remains skeptical, though. He thinks it's impossible. He says,
"It won't. Can't change the way you feel."
Of course, Robbie is saying that in a way to give Sam a separate message. He still has feelings for her, and he takes this opportunity to drop that little reminder. This selfish little shit. He doesn't want to give Chris and the other new recruits a second chance. Yet he's benefited greatly from Daniel and Amanda LaRusso giving Robbie a second chance. His attraction to Sam and his own personal grudges, they come back later this season to test the strength of this newly formed team. After learning that some of his students have vandalized Daniel's dojo, Johnny Lawrence wants to teach a new lesson. It's connected to the beginning of the season, but it's a little bit different. The tone's different now. His whole team-building exercise will help develop endurance, but the important part, he's punishing the whole dojo to teach honor and respect. If someone steps out of line, all are punished until the culprits get revealed. Unfortunately, Johnny leaves on some very important personal business. He gives no specifics to Kreese, which is interesting and is probably worth looking into. Regardless, Johnny leaves Kreese to take over the lesson. Oh, he takes over the lesson. Today, the lesson. Tomorrow, the dojo. Cobra Kai already experienced their own team-building exercise earlier in the season. Most of the dojo watching on, and a handful of students taking part. They learn the value of cooperation and tenacity. They learn the importance of hard work and momentum. Keep moving forward. You don't stop, or else you get stuck in the cement. It's a great scene. I love that scene. It's paired well with the Miyagi-Do wheel technique training. Actually, there's something interesting about that. Might want to look into that at a later time. It's a different wheel technique with a different kind of wheel. Now, this exercise is less for the building of the students in the dojo. It helps build a foundation, a new foundation, a foundation with a different sensei. Kreese changes that lesson slightly. Johnny wants his dojo to train, win, lose, all of those things. They do them together as a team. Kreese teaches in terms of the enemy, the team and the enemy. Essentially, if one of you has the enemy, then you all have that enemy. And you do not show an enemy mercy. If someone attacks a member of Cobra Kai, then they all counterattack.
You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us!
This is Kreese's team building. He builds himself a team. At the same time, Kreese demonstrates his power over Hawk.
Would you really like to know who did it? It was Hawk. And it was Diaz. And Robinson. And it was Nichols, Chubbs, Red. When one of you makes a move, you all make a move.
Kreese implicates Hawk, but then he obscures his involvement entirely with that wonderful pause.
You live and you die with the consequences and the spoils. Because you are all Cobra Kai.
He's established that Hawk is his student,
A master and an apprentice.
in a similar way that Miguel is Johnny's student.
If he could be turned, he would become a powerful ally.
He also tries to gain Miguel's trust.
I want you to use all your powers and all your skills.
In fact, he switches on all of his charm.
Now go to that voodoo that you do.
But Miguel maintains his sense of skepticism of Kreese and his loyalty to Johnny, so he's immune to Kreese's voodoo. I'd be curious to see this play out a little bit more in Season 3. Let's take the Wayback Machine to the Valley 1984. As far as we're concerned, the original Cobra Kai team, this is them. Johnny Lawrence, Tommy, Bobby Brown, not that Bobby Brown, Jimmy, and Dutch. And not Dutch, because Dutch is in prison. At least as a character, we're not going to see him. Johnny seems to be the leader of the team, other than the fact that he's one of the leads, the major leads of Cobra Kai as the show goes. He was also the two-time champ at the All-Valley Karate Tournament. If it wasn't for that meddling Daniel LaRusso, maybe he would have been a three-time champ. This team doesn't need building. They don't really need rebuilding. All of their building happened decades ago. It's sort of breaking apart now that Dutch is in prison, Tommy is on his last days. We're witnessing the results of the team building. It's a reunion. It's a reunion to see Tommy off. Last chance. They get a chance to go out and go on the road one last time, and they have beers and catch up with each other's lives. And that's when Johnny Lawrence tells them that he's opened up a dojo and he's calling it Cobra Kai. This decision gives a little bit of unease to the guys at the table. When he tells them that Kreese is back, he gets verbally challenged by Bobby and Jimmy. A little bit by Tommy. He goes a little easier. He questions it and he asks if he trusts Kreese. So this resistance, it will certainly validate Daniel LaRusso's line of thinking as far as the audience is concerned. This actually gives Johnny the normal pushback that he would need from people that he trusts. He doesn't get that from Daniel. He just gets a brick wall. And no questions, no benefit of the doubt. These guys know Johnny. They don't want him to build Cobra Kai back up. As a partial rebuttal to Bobby and Jimmy's serious reservations, well, a little bit of Tommy, but they get a chance to be badasses one last time, late in life. There's a drunken, disorderly bar patron. He starts getting rowdy and physical with Johnny. Well, best as I can tell, Johnny, I think he's got at least 4 guys he takes on. He pulls an Indiana Jones as well.
Whiskey.
Bobby jumps in right away. Now, the actor knows a little thing or two about karate or martial arts, so it's a natural decision to have more action scenes with him. Jimmy, he looks like a big guy. He's got some good barroom brawling moves. He pairs up with Bobby a little bit and has a little bit of a surprise that he's still got it in him. Tommy even gets a punch on his last day, all to his own. Now, the subject, after they stand proud at the end, the subject doesn't come up between them anymore. Not directly, anyways. If anything, it may even have given them an idea that Johnny's plan isn't all bad. The big moment comes later on that night at a campfire when Tommy and Johnny are having a talk.
You still got one thing that's more important than anything, Johnny.
What's that?
Time. You still have time.
To Tommy, time's the most important commodity that Johnny has. It's Tommy that tells Johnny, go do what you want. This is the approval that Johnny needs. And coming from a dying man, that means a lot. It's permission for Johnny Lawrence to carry on with Cobra Kai, a new Cobra Kai. He even tells him he knows he can do it. He says, you're the champ. Take a look at Johnny's reaction. To him, it looks like those words ring hollow. He hasn't felt like a champ for a while. Oh, maybe here and there, but things just aren't going the way he really wants it this time of his life. But maybe this is exactly what he needs, a little bit of support and confidence from his past, from people who know him very well and trust him. Maybe this is what Johnny needs to continue. Daniel taught his dojo a powerful lesson. Kreese taught his dojo a powerful lesson. However, Johnny learned a powerful and valuable lesson from people that mattered. Will this be enough? I think I'm going to get fined for doing more of an after-school special here. Thank you very much for your indulgence and your patience, and I appreciate your stopping by. Next time, the next episode, and you folks take care. Thank you very much.